When is the best time to take tesamorelin? Well, this is interesting because if you look at tesamorelin, a lot of people don't realize that if you take it with food, you may not get the benefits that you're looking for. The other thing that people don't realize is it's not just food that interferes with this really phenomenal growth hormone releasing peptide. You'll find that stress can also interfere with it. So in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the best time to take tesamorelin, when not to take it, how to utilize the cycling of it so that you can maximize your experience and enjoy unreasonable health. I'm Regan Archibald. I'm the founder of East West Health. I'm also the creator of the Ageless Future Operating System. I help people combine the three major organ systems for optimization: your brain, your muscle health, and your cardiovascular fitness. And we do this as a team approach so that you have the ability to improve your health every single year instead of what most people fall into is this gradual decline where it's just so subtle that you don't realize that your health is slipping away. So we help prevent that by getting the right diagnostic testing and then using the right peptides. So why tesamorelin? What even is tesamorelin? And if you've seen my other videos on tesamorelin, you probably understand that this is a growth hormone releasing peptide. It was approved as a medical treatment in 2010, made it through all three phases of the FDA clinical trials, and the manufacturer has named it Agrifta. But what this peptide is it's a naturally occurring growth hormone releasing peptide in your body, and it's been phenomenal in expressing greater levels of fat metabolism. So it turns on the genes so that you can actually start using fat as an energy source. So many people who use tesamorelin, they're like, well, I want to get rid of my belly fat. And when is the best time to take this to get rid of my belly fat? Well, if tesamorelin is utilized in a state where you're stressed, what happens is your liver produces sugar, and it's called gluconeogenesis to circumvent the stress, because anytime your body's in stress in a fight or flight mode, your body wants to prepare itself to outrun the tiger or outrun whatever threat there is. Now, most of us, when we experience stress, it's in a situation where we're sedentary. And maybe you're at your desk at work, or maybe you're driving and you're in a traffic jam and suddenly you're frustrated. Someone cuts you off. Whatever the cause may be, the problem is when you have gluconeogenesis, then insulin follows that sugar that your pancreas releases the insulin, and then that insulin's trying to get sugar out of your bloodstream so that your blood sugar is as stable as possible, because it's very dangerous if it gets too high or if it gets too low. So what blocks the release of growth hormone is insulin. And so even when you're in high levels of stress, it's not a good time to take tesamorelin. The other thing that produces insulin is when you eat sugar or carbohydrates. And even proteins, proteins have to get broken down, and they can get broken down into sugar as well. So the best time to take tesamorelin is ideally when you're in a relaxed state, about an hour and a half, 90 minutes to 2 hours after you've eaten your last meal. And you want to inject it at the prescribed dose. And I talk about dosing, which is typically about 1.4 milligrams. You want to do this 4 or 5 times a week and then take a couple days off, because anytime you're working on the growth hormone pathway, it's really important to balance another pathway called AMPK. Growth hormone activates what's called mTOR, or this is the mammalian target of rapamycin. And AMPK is a secondary energy system for ATP production. And so if you have a balance in those two systems, it's the yin and yang in the body. Anytime, if you think about our cars, there's the gas pedal and a brake. There's an accelerant and there's a decelerant. And if you're always pushing on the gas by using like growth hormone itself, then you may overexpress growth hormone, and then you can put yourself at risk of future diseases. Likewise, if you can go having windows where you're eating and then windows of fasting. So follow the 12-hour rule, which is no eating 12 hours out of the day and just eat the other 12. If you have blood sugar dysregulation, this may not be optimal for you. Some of you, if you're trying to lose that visceral fat and that's why you're getting on tesamorelin, then you want to shorten your eating window to maybe 8 hours or even 6. Look at your blood sugar, make sure that you're not dropping too low. Continuous glucose monitor is something phenomenal that you can utilize. But when you're taking tesamorelin, I'm going to give you 4 questions. And in this questionnaire, this will let you know when the best time for you to take Tesamorelin is. So you can plug this in the comments, but number one is, do you experience stress often? Number two, do you have any unresolved trauma? Are you going through any massive psychological complications, right? Maybe business issues, politic things, who knows? Number three, do you have any blood sugar dysregulation? Are you diabetic? And then number four, this is probably the most important, do you have any like hanger, or do you notice that you get really grumpy if you don't eat? So if you answered yes to any of those, especially on the stress side, then what you want to do is you want to utilize peptides like Selenk, which calms down the central nervous system. Epitalin is also a great way of resetting what's called your HPA axis. And the HPA axis is your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. And this is really interesting because what you'll find is in the first 60 days that we work with any of our clients, we take them through what's called the reset. And our job is to get everything in your body so it's calibrated again. So just like you have the gas pedal and the brakes, same thing when you're taking Tesamorelin, and if you want to know when is the right time to take it, you've got to go back and you've got to reset your sleep cycle. So make sure you're getting to bed by 9:30, wake up around 5:30. The second thing you're going to do in the reset is reset that metabolic function. So if you have metabolic disease where you have blood sugar instability, and that was questions 3 and 4, then there's a good chance that you need to fix the blood sugar instability before Tesamorelin is the right peptide for you. Even if you have fatty liver disease though, Tesamorelin may be something we use up front, but then we want to make sure we stack it at the right time. The final thing on Tesamorelin is you want to make sure that your body is active. You want to make sure you're working out, because Tesamorelin is good for the brain, but it's really good for building muscle mass. But if you've got stress or if you've got sugar interfering with that growth hormone response, you're not going to see the benefits that you expect from this amazing peptide. So Tesamorelin is something that I utilized, and I've used this peptide for over 10 years. And what I've seen in myself and in our clients who utilize this treatment is better definition in the abs. I noticed that my proprioception, or my ability to move my body, feels much more dynamic. But I also notice if I use ipamorelin with Tesamorelin, not only do I get a greater pulse of growth hormone, I sleep deeper, but I don't have the hunger that can accompany it. So when Tesamorelin was originally approved as a treatment for lipodystrophy, what they also discovered is that the patients tended to eat more. And that was actually a good thing. Their appetite came back. So in order to balance this, so you have that mTOR AMPK, one thing that I'll utilize is another peptide called 5-amino-1-MQ, and I'll talk about this in my next video where I dive into peptides for energy. So for those of you who want to go deeper into Tesamorelin and you're really wondering how long do I stay on Tesamorelin for best results, you're going to want to watch my next video. You can find it here, and I'll see you there.